Okay, my hat today is the Supernatural TV show, and also my matching t-shirt is about the Winchester brothers from the Supernatural TV show. Today I'm witnessing what we call chemtrails. We got one there, that guy's apparently sprayed here, and they've been spraying all day. So, why don't I get worried about chemtrails, etc., etc.? Because it is not anything at all. What we experience in our reality when we see, things that we think are, well, some people still say it's contrail. I saw another plane today that flew by with not even a contrail that disappeared. In other words, it just went by and it had nothing coming out the back of it. And then I looked away for a second, I looked back and it was gone. So, I mean, is it kind of a Matrix thing, the old Keanu Reeves movie? No, we're going to stop referring that for now. We're going to talk about it as being the world mind. Now, the world mind was also called carnal mind by the spiritual teacher Joel S. Goldsmith. And I was looking up an article that was channeled by someone from extraterrestrials, apparently. Let's just call them some other kind of group consciousness. And they said it had something to do with densities, and which are hard to place. It's kind of like places where a concentration of conscious beings can be and change their experiences of. I'm not going to go there. Some people want me to keep showing you the sky, but I've already showed it to you. Okay, it's just chemtrailing. And what does it really mean? It's about this carnal mind. And Joel Goldsmith talked about it as being a nothingness. And when I was reading this article about densities, it talked about, it's like a lot of words, but it's basically something that we experience in our day-to-day life, and it's due to error. In other words, you see a negativity and you want to right the negativity. Goldsmith said this is incorrect. He says the negativity that you are experiencing is a nothingness. He said it's the carnal mind appearing to you. And it is basically to be, you can go to silent meditation, and don't be concerned about it. Now, what is he really meaning here? It is like the human ego. It is a sense of, what's the difference between human ego? Some people say soul, but it's oneness, one thing. And what we observe in our reality is the appearance of good and the appearance of evil. And if you are Goldsmith, you say, I see something that appears to be. But he says all there really is oneness. And the issue is always because he's trying to get his point across through English, and spiritual metaphysics is very difficult to explain to people in English. It's very difficult because it's very hard to get the sense of what he's talking about. He always says in the end, these are the words, but he said, meditate. Meditate, meditate, meditate. And then he gave you the theory in his books about it, this carnal mind. And even when I saw this channeling thing from the Law of One, it said that the negativities are pseudo-intelligence. You keep going down these different paths trying to figure it out, and the whole point is don't bother. It's simply time to meditate. And when you observe these things like, apparently chemtrails or whatever, he would just say meditate. And whatever you're observing with your physical senses, close your eyes, sit down, and meditate. Edgar, my companion today, is breathing heavy because he wants to say, yes, but in our world, don't we have to avoid the negative polarity? And this is also an issue because it's like the ego wants to appear to be good to people, around it. So it plays the phony baloney game of, I'm Mr. Perfect. So, it's all acting. And then it's like a 2-year-old, it's acting out, and, I don't know what a 2-year-old does when they act out. A crying fit, they have a major meltdown, they scream, they yell, they pound their fists. He also wants to say, insufficient data to help you. In other words, my lecture, no, my lecture is very good. And if you listen to it, you will get the impression that there's a lot of intellectual things you can read about in Joel S. Goldsmith's books. And in the end, if you listen to his lectures, you probably get bored and fall asleep. Because the problem, again, is the words. But if you want to get the gist of everything I'm telling you about these spiritual teachers, they say go to silence and meditate. And don't worry your little head about chemtrails and poisons in the air and crazy politicians, all of this other stuff, because it's not a big issue at all. Thank you for watching. I'm going to let you go. Oh, one more thing. If you're involved with anything to do with tobacco, should you be concerned about it? Depends on what your level of consciousness is. I just saw someone smoking a cigarette, so it came up. If you are Socrates in a movie that I saw a long time ago, I'll put the link down below. Socrates would occasionally have a glass of scotch and a big fat cigar. At his level of consciousness, was it hurting him? No. But he also said, don't get hooked on these kind of things. Don't get hooked on these kind of things. They're things to enjoy once in a while, but don't get hooked on these things. And if you're at a low level of consciousness, will these things hurt you? Your belief in good and evil and your lack of meditation will probably result in them causing you a lot of trouble. Keep meditating, keep meditating. I'm Harry Weaver, the narrator.